Hey everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner, and I'm bringing you another of my mini knife videos this week. With all my time off of work, I just have all this time on my hands, and I'm just enjoying bringing some videos, things that I've kind of had planned on doing for a while and just haven't gotten around to, so I'm kind of getting through that list. I don't know what I'm going to do after all that's done, but this is a video about knives that I can't carry, which is kind of depressing a little bit. I don't know, not depressing, but it's kind of sad and silly at the same time. Really, I don't understand. I don't understand the whole concept, but the laws are the laws, and I try to follow the laws, and, doesn't keep me from collecting. These knives, I can't carry them, but there is no law that says I can't own them. And so as long as I'm not out in the street, walking around with it, and there's no issue. But I do enjoy them, and so I don't have a whole lot of them. I do prefer to carry my knives, so I don't have a lot. Now, I do have a couple here that I can carry. So before we get into this guy, which is kind of the star of the show, I'm going to show you a couple of OTF or automatic knives that you can carry in California. There it is in all its awesomeness, all of its sub 2-inchness. This one is a M3 Tactical, so there you go. I'm under 2 inches on the blade, so I can carry this one freely, and it gives me that little fidget factor thing. This is one of these cool little rectangular looking ones that some companies make. I think Microtech has some are like a Boba Fett style or whatever, but smaller ones with this style and this shape. Not exactly very ergonomic for holding to use for anything, but you get that little fix, that OTF flicking out, flicking back fix, and it is a very cool blade. Just a really nice grind to it. It's got that cutout in the middle, which is kind of unusual and cool at the same time, I think. And yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, M3 Tactical actually does some good work. I bought this before I really knew who the company was. I actually bought this in Arizona. Funny thing. I was traveling there visiting some family, and I went to a knife store there, Blade Runner, and I said, I'll check out their OTFs because, they could sell them. And I was talking to the guy, telling him about, that I live in California and all that, and he showed me this one, and I figured, hey, this will be my first OTF, and actually it's been my only one for a long, long time. And I can actually carry it, and it's pretty cool. It's actually got M390 steel, so that's an M390 blade. Pretty nice looking, and it's got a good edge on it for sure. I've used it for little teeny things, but nothing serious. I think I stabbed it one time just to see how well it would hold up, like into a tree, just to see if it would hold up. But I mean, don't really. It's just more for the fidget and the collectability thing. But anyway, I enjoy it, and that was my first OTF and only one for the longest time. I also picked up one of these guys. Not an OTF. This is a out the side. It's Vox design from Boker. It's called the Vox Compact, and you'll see why in a second. Why it's called the Compact. Tiny. Again, we're looking at that 2-inch area. Cali legal. That's what the term that they use for these things. I was actually able to buy this, I think, from Blade HQ, and they sent it to me because it was Cali legal, and so they could send it to me. It does fire out pretty well. I actually get a little bit of a a shake in my hand as I pop it out. So you gotta have to kind of hold on to it. I know that I haven't really, not a big fan of out the side autos as much as the out the front. But I've heard that some of those, like the Kalashnikov and others like that, were really, when they fire out, you can really feel it. You know, feel that the power of that spring. This one I can close with one hand, which is kind of a plus. It is so small that I threw this lanyard on here, so if I am actually, you know, this one I got a 3-finger on it, but it gives me a little bit something to hold on to in case it slides or whatever. I got that lanyard, I can wrap my pinky around that lanyard. But it's fairly comfortable for a 3-finger knife. And again, this is just more for having a out the side automatic than anything else. Although it's not a bad knife for the size. It's not my normal thing. Before any of these knives, when I was a kid, I was like probably teenager, 20s. I was a big fan of martial arts movies, and I trained martial arts, Shotokan karate for quite a few years in high school. Had a good time with that, and I was really into it. So I had all the weapons. I had the nunchucks that you can't legally carry around. I had the throwing stars you can't legally carry around. All kinds of stuff that I had and I played with. I spent hours and hours and hours with the nunchucks and swinging them around. Not so much lately. It's been a while, so I'm very rusty on those things. But another thing that I bought back in those days was the butterfly knife. Now these are very popular nowadays, and if you go to the blade shows, you'll see the competitions. And yeah, I never saw anything like that back when I was flipping these things around as a kid. Remember there's a movie called Sharky's Machine. I don't know if anybody's old enough or been around enough to have seen that one. It's not super popular one, but there's this one guy, the bad guy in the movie. He had 1 or 2 butterfly knives, and he flipped them around, and it kind of got me excited about it. And anyway, yeah, Burt Reynolds movie back when he was young and had hair and all that stuff. Anyway, rest his soul. Here's my slick ability to do that. Nowadays, I'm not as good at it. Certainly not under the camera. And I'm going to probably put a big old mark in my table if I keep going. This one is, you know, it's funny because back in those days, when you were looking, they weren't legal to carry, but I found this like at a gas station in like part of town that had more Japanese, you know, people living there and things of that nature. It does say on it, if you get it to focus, it's funny, Miami, USA. But I don't know. And then on the other side, it does say 440 stainless. I don't know if that's coming out on the camera or not. 440 stainless. And then it says 634, I guess that's the model number, Japan. So, I don't know. It's this one, from what I could tell online when I started putting this stuff in my spreadsheet, this thing was actually made in China. So, it has all these different markings from all over the place. It's kind of chromed out handle. I had another one that I used to use a lot more than this one. This one's kind of a little bit slick in the hand. I kind of got it for the looks. But like I said, I picked this thing up at a gas station back in the day when I was in my teens or early 20s. So that you kind of had to find them in those kind of locations. But they were available. I mean, that's where I would get like throwing stars and things like that. You know, stuff that technically was not legal, but you could find them around. Nowadays, I haven't seen anything like that in California. But visiting other states, sometimes you'll see some stuff like that, but not here. And then I had, like I said, I had another one that I used to use, and I used it so much that it eventually broke in this area where the 2 pivots are, and it just broke here. And so from that same store in Arizona, I did pick up another butterfly knife. It's a little bit better grip, although I can't really flick it too well here under the camera, and I'm not really great at it otherwise, but still fun to do. This one is from, it says Bear MGC USA. This is actually a USA made knife, believe it or not. At least that's what the website says. And one other interesting thing about this one is my only chisel ground blade. And I don't know if there's a reason why they did chisel on this one. This is the first one, only one I've really seen that was chisel on a Bally. It's going to be a little bit asymmetrical on the weight. I don't really feel it, but then I'm not really one of those kids that are just really flicking these things around and throwing them up in the air and catching them by their neck and all this crazy stuff that you see at the competitions. Man, I really love to watch that, though. They impress the heck out of me. But anyway, this one, like I say, chisel ground. It's and it's a Tonto, so that's interesting too. Just one thing you need to know with a butterfly knife, other than the fact you can't carry them in California, is this is what they call I think they call it the safe handle or something. That's the side you want to hold on to, because when you're flicking it around, you're going to hit the back of your finger, and if you have it on the other side, you're going to cut yourself with that blade. So that's something important to know when it comes to Ballies. So you got to kind of get used to that and be careful about it. And then, you know, if you drop it, you don't have shoes on, you might have a hole in your foot. I've never had that experience, fortunately. Anyway, so that's what I got on my kind of legal, semi-legal, not legal to carry knives. But this guy here is what I really want to show today. And I bought this one from a friend on YouTube. If you've seen, I'll just say it's Nick Edwards again. I've bought a lot of things from him. He really, like I say, for me, I really like the prices that he offers up for these things. And because of the fact that I can't carry it, I didn't really want to pay full price. And, you know, the price that he asked for was more than reasonable. And so I jumped on it. He actually had a few of them that he was showing me, and I ended up getting this one here. This is called the Nightstalker 2. He was on his video. If you ever saw his video, he just couldn't believe that name. He thought it was the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, it's not the greatest name, I guess. No Limit Designs or Knives. Supposedly this is made by a Max Ace company. I believe that's what he said. It's got this nice dual grind. I really liked it. I like the fuller here with the holes, the kind of like, sort of like a saw edge, but you're not gonna really saw anything with that thing. But it's pretty robust. This has got titanium over, so I think this portion here is titanium, and this part is aluminum. A lot of these OTFs you're going to see aluminum handled, but this does have the titanium over the top, so it makes it a little more premium. It's got a nice clip. A lot of them don't have that good of a clip on them. This one does, so it is a nice knife. Of course, with the clip, that really makes a difference if you're carrying it around, and I don't. I'm looking forward to maybe going out of town sometime on a trip. I'll throw this thing in my suitcase just to have an opportunity to be able to carry it around. And then, you know, maybe someday looking forward to retiring and moving somewhere a little more friendly to knives. But it's a really cool knife. It's got a lot of nice little details on it. It's very ergonomic. Not super chunky in the handle. That's one thing I don't really like about some OTFs. Is their handle's so large compared to the blade, and this one kind of has a better ratio, I guess, this way to the blade, and it's not super wide this way. Obviously, OTFs normally have a little bit of rattle, unless it's the deadlock. But no, this one's good. This one is called the Nightstalker. Like I said, Nightstalker 2 is what it said. It says on it, on the blade. M390 steel. And it's made in China. Max Ace. I guess they make all their stuff in China. And so this is like OEM by them, I guess. Under that name of No Limit Knives. So anyway, I thought it was unusual. I thought it was a good opportunity for me to get an OTF. It's got a nice grippy handle. It's a little or trigger. It's a little bit hard to push, but it really holds onto your thumb, so I'm able to do it pretty well. It's not the easiest in the world, but in a way, it's kind of like nice that it's not going to happen accidentally. You definitely have to be intentional about opening up this knife. Glass breaker. It's not pokey, so that's good. So if I ever do carry it, I'm not going to be stabbing myself with this thing. But it does have that glass breaker on there for whatever reason they do that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But they do what they do. And I enjoy this knife at home. And I get to have that fidget click in and out with this nice big blade. Let's take a look at the size of this guy. It's definitely over 2 inch. Let's see. We got about 3 3/4 inch blade with a 3.5 inch cutting edge. That's my size knife. And you can definitely get your full hand on it. No problem. This kind of gives you a good place to rest your thumb when you're holding it. And yeah, great knife. One of these days, maybe I'll live somewhere and carry this thing quite often. But anyway, I wanted to share it with you guys. One of those things that I've had kind of on the back burner, and finally got a chance to break it out and show it off a little bit and tell you the story. And I appreciate you guys. We got New Year's coming up, so I want to wish everybody Happy New Year's. I got my giveaway, which is turning out fairly quickly, getting close to 400 subs instead of 350. I'm not going to wait for 400, but I'm putting together a few things. I got a little bit more. I got a little multi-tool. I got some stuff from Olight here. I think I'm going to pick something from that to throw in there. Just a little something. What my plan is, I'm going to go through all my knives and see if there's something that I feel like I'm ready to kind of let go of. So it'll be a used knife, but I'll put that in there. And then I'll have a brand new knife. The Syncut Actium. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I'll do a video later on once I got it all squared away and know what I'm doing. And probably sometime shortly after the new year. So take a look for that. Anyway, thank you guys. You know, I got a lot of videos out this week, but I know I'm going to be probably going back to my slower pace when I get back to work. But it's been fun, and I'm enjoying it while it lasts. And I will see you guys on the next one.